vehicle we're going to be working on today is a Chrysler PT Cruiser. Pretty much the repairs I'm going to work on just about all of them as far as the manual transmissions. Customers complaining of the gear shifter having a lot of play, as well as coming out of gear at times. I've seen this as a common problem. I've also found some solutions and stuff you can buy either online or in some of the local parts houses to go ahead and correct this. Some of them are pretty much, depending on the kit you get, some of them you'll never have the problem again. Some of them will probably last another 100,000 miles. It all depends if you go with a rubber replacement or an actual aluminum replacement. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to showing you the problem and what we can do to fix it. Just from basic examination, I can tell we got probably a shifter bushing issue on this PT. When I'm moving the shifter side to side, I get minimal amount of play, which is normal. But when I'm trying to move frontwards or backwards, I get pretty much almost an inch of play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where to look up under the hood, how to gain access to it, and where you can get some of the parts to actually fix this concern. So what we're going to do now is gain access to where the shifter cable is and where it goes on top of the transmission. And then we're going to observe which one of the bushings is bad and replace the appropriate one. What you need to do is go ahead and pop the air cleaner, the upper outlet, or inlet, off. Got two of those spring clamps. And I like to sit it off to the side. Nothing elaborate, you don't have to worry about unbolting it, just a simple moving up here be fine. The actual air filter housing, you can just pull straight up and get the rubber hose off of it coming from the valve cover. So now we actually have access to get down inside the opening here on top of the transmission where the actual shifter cable is. Alright, so at this point we've gotten access to where the shifter cable actually goes on top of the transmission. We went ahead and moved the air cleaner housing out of the way, and we're on the driver's side back behind the battery. You can actually see how much play we've got in that shifter cable because of the bushing being gone, and it actually has the possibility of just popping out. There's a couple of different versions you can buy online of kits to actually repair this. You go to your local Dodge dealership or Chrysler dealership, they're pretty much going to want to sell you the whole entire cable. You can go on eBay and they sell aluminum bushing replacements that actually go in there and they take the place of the rubber bushing, and then there's a C-clip that holds everything down on top of the shifter arm right here. You can also get from your local parts house. For example, this one's from Napa. Here's the part number and all for that. It actually has some different bushings inside the kit. The main one we're going to need is actually this one. So we're actually going to work on just pulling the rubber piece out. Shouldn't be too difficult. And then when we get ready to go back, we're just going to have to work on squeezing the new one down inside the cable. Once we do that, we'll snap it back on and we should be good to go for quite a while. So I'll go ahead and move on with that. I'll go ahead and get me a screwdriver. I'll get to the side of the bushing that's messed up and squeeze it down in there and get it out of the way. Now we got the new bushing that we're going to slide down in there. We're going to put a little bit of grease on it to help you get it down inside the cable. It's a matter of squeezing everything down in there and get it fully seated, because you're going to have a lip that you got to get past. Just got to take your time, kind of work the bushing down in there using a screwdriver. Alright, actually got it fully seated. Not too bad. The grease actually helped out a lot. So now we can go ahead and snap it back in place. Alright, so now we've gone ahead and replaced the bushing we found wrong. We go back inside, we're going to check the operation of the shifter without it running. Once again, we got minimal side to side, and then we got minimal front to rear. So we pretty much have tightened up the shifter now, so there isn't a bunch of slop. Otherwise, you have a tendency for it to want to jump out of gear, or actually the shifter cable coming off all together, and then you'll be on the side of the road. Otherwise, once again, it's a simple repair. Nothing too complicated, doesn't take much time, pretty much anybody can do. Appreciate you watching my videos. Always stay tuned for more.